Hey guys, welcome back. Today's guest is one of the very best and most consistent athletes in HYROX. Vivian Tafuto is an Elite 15 athlete and the reigning Elite 15 doubles world champion alongside Lauren Weeks. They secured the top step of the podium as they stormed to victory in Stockholm last month, and it was an incredible race. We just looked back, and I think it was March 2025 we last spoke, so it's been a while. And we are so excited to have you back on the podcast. And congratulations, well done. And yeah, thanks for giving up your time to come and talk to us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I feel good that you called me consistent. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
You are. I feel like you're not like that you're underrated, but like as in I don't think people give you enough credit for how like consistent and how well you do. I don't know whether it's because you race with Lauren or what it is, but like I feel like you're just like
Yeah.
always there, always at the top. Or yeah, I mean, you deserve to become a world champion, like for sure. And you this year especially, your performances have just like become like they've just been incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. Missed the train a little bit at Worlds, but other than that, it was a pretty solid season, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we can get into like worlds and the races because I'm sure everyone would love to hear about that. I was just wanting to, I mean, I think we did ask this on the last, but when was your first year in the Elite 15? When were you like, how long's the like years been?
I raced a first like elite race. It was back when there was like a North American Championship back in 2023. That was the first like elite race that I did.
Yeah, crazy.
And then you think, oh, 2023, that was ages ago. It's not really that, like it's only 3 years, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
actually wild, but it feels like you're like one of the OGs that have been around.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do feel like an OG. I
Do
think
you?
now because like Meg obviously had to miss the last two worlds and we've had a lot of shuffles. Like I think only Linda and Lauren have a longer streak at worlds now, which is like crazy to think of how much turnover there's been.
Yeah, I know. It is. I mean, it's exciting. It's like the sport is like growing and it's super exciting. But talk to us about world champs. You had the singles race and the doubles race. Like you'd had a really good season leading into it. Like how was the season for you? And then maybe we can start like with the solo side and the race.
Yeah, I think the solo side, not what I wanted. I'm kind of been trying to just reflect back and take some learning from the season and what I can do to improve going forward. And I think it's funny. I think my season started with a bang. Like definitely my best individual race by far was in Hamburg. And I think overall, it kind of slowly went downhill to Worlds, which is a bummer. Like you don't want to show up badly at Worlds. And I think that I unfortunately maybe fell into a trap that I tend to fall into of just maybe just pushing myself consistently too hard, kind of, you know, up and up and up and up and up throughout the season, kind of really wanting to just uh, progress too fast or get too aggressive or cling on to things too tight. And I think for me, that seems to be a recurring issue that I have. Like I remember this past, I had done that for sure leading up to Worlds 2025. I said this on a different podcast. I think at one point, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the hybrid engine training, if you guys have ever been on that or know kind of what how much training is, but like just by itself, it's a not crazy high like Dylan Scott type program, but you're probably, depending on how fast you go through things, probably looking at about 16 to 20 hours by itself. And I had made like a competition with myself basically of how much extra cardio can I do on top of that, leading into 2025 worlds. So I was probably training 23, 24 hours, like just doing a lot. And I didn't think too much of it because I was still able to hit my threshold paces that I was supposed to hit. But I was definitely like tired and really pushing myself. And I think one of the good and bad things of coming from a swimming background is like I'm kind of used to just feeling like crap all the time and pushing through and always just showing up. Like I just do it. I show up and I do it. I don't like I'm like, well, however I feel, I know I can do this, whatever. And so I learned that lesson in 2025, especially going into Hamburg, where after Worlds, I had taken some time off and then I cut all my extra cardio, was just kind of vibing, like doing the least amount of training, bumped down all of my paces, like was me and Morgan, I was in Chicago with Morgan Scholes. I had to travel there for work. And I remember us like just kind of going through workouts, like having conversations during our threshold machine intervals, like just vibing. And that's how my summer was. And then I show up in Hamburg and I kill it. And I'm like, okay, well, we learned a lesson here. Like you need to not be doing extra. And I think what I said on the podcast was like, if I feel like I can be doing more, then that's probably where I should be. Like feeling that way. And so I did really well in Hamburg, started stepping things up a little bit, but not too aggressively. And then after Phoenix, I didn't do as well as I wanted to in Phoenix. And I was like, okay, I gotta step things up further. I pushed up my paces and I kind of just did that into Warsaw. Was like, Warsaw wasn't what I wanted. Let's crank it up some more. And I think I got to Worlds and I think things just it kind of hit a point again where last season it was too much volume. This season it was a combination of like too much volume / intensity. And I feel like I did kind of goof up possibly in that way. Also just like a bad day, right? Like it's a combination of factors, not just one thing. And the venue being hot, I think I would have done a lot better if I had tried to be a little bit more conservative and take that into account. But yeah, I think that's another lesson that I unfortunately have had to learn 3 times now to back things off and chill out. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of how I felt. And even a few weeks before Worlds, I texted Anthony and I was like, Anthony, I'm unwell. Like I really don't feel great right now. And we tried taking like a few days lower volume and I was like, oh, I feel better, but I don't think that realistically was actually enough. So yeah, I need to keep learning the lesson of like, I guess I can't trust my body completely because I think again, like the many years of swimming, like I will show up and I will do it. No matter how bad I feel, like I can usually get myself to do what I need to get done. But my thing needs to be like, how do I feel about training? Do I leave the workout feeling like I could do more, or am I like really struggling to get through everything? And that's definitely how I felt towards the end of the season. So that was kind of some things that I feel like did the individual race. And then was not having the best race, but I was really trying to fight through because you can't really have a bad race anymore with this new point system. And so I was really trying to fight through that. And then the funniest thing that happened was last year at World Championships, after the farmer's carry, I got a side stitch. And it was like the worst thing ever. Like last year, Lauren Griffith passed me and she was like trying to signal, like, get on my feet because she was like, you look like you were about to stop. And I was like, I was about to stop. I couldn't breathe. And then I got into the lunges and I was like, just like keep going, Vivian, like go until you can. And then I did the lunges and it went away. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I was worried about getting a side stitch the whole season. I never got one until Worlds. And then the same exact thing happened after the farmer's carry. It was so bad. I wanted to stop so bad, but I knew from last year, like, just get to lunges and it'll resolve itself. But it was funny. Kat Parnell and Jade were like, I saw you grabbing your thigh. They were like, did you need to go to the bathroom? I'm like, no, I couldn't breathe. And I was like, you need to finish the race. Get the money. Like, get the money. just get through it. But yeah, that was kind of a summary and what I've been thinking about and reflecting on with the individual race. And in the moment, just trying to do a race that you're proud of. Like I still tried really hard the whole time, like trying to get any place that I could, which didn't really end up happening, especially with the side stitch thing. But I was like, don't break on the wall balls because you're having a bad day. Like get through them all, like finish a race that you can be proud of your effort, like regardless of what the result says. So that was kind of like I just probably chatted for 10 minutes straight, but that was kind of like my thoughts and my reflections on the individual race.
Yeah, I mean, like it's really interesting, but it's so like impressive to be able to like keep pushing and like keep, you know, there's only 15 of you out there. Like it's like obviously the stadium was like full, everyone's watching. If you do like have a bad day and you're feeling crap, like I can't even imagine how hard it is to like keep yourself going and keep fighting and keep pushing and not just want to be like, I really just want to like take a minute. Like I just, yeah, it's crazy. Like fair play to you.
You must be one of the strongest athletes mentally, because
Oh,
not only
that's
that
nice.
though, yeah, but I think it's because like this is one of the questions I really wanted to ask you, and like we'll get into the rest of it, but it's probably a good time because we're talking about like mental resilience. But like you talk about that in your solo race, and when like you still kept going, and even when you got to the wall balls, you're like, don't break on the wall balls, which like you obviously find bits and chunk it down and keep yourself moving through. But also you talk a lot about when you're racing with Lauren, and like you make a joke about it as in like, oh, like I just wanted to like break my leg. I was looking around thinking, where can I break my leg to like end this pain? Like how do you keep pushing? Like it's the biggest thing. You can train to get faster at running, you can train to get better at wall balls. How do you train that mental, where does that come from, that mental resilience?
I don't know. I think like part of it is just like lived experience. Like I think um like the first time that we did it was really so shocking how hard it was. I remember us being on the rower and whoever the announcer, this was back in Vancouver, and the announcer coming over and being like, "You guys are on world record pace," and I was like, "We fucking better be!" Like there's how could anybody have done this faster? Like this is insane. Like this is insane. Like I don't know how I'm possible. Like I don't know how I'm gonna finish this race. And I think like that's that's kind of how it feels almost every time. And I know that like just like building on the past experience, like knowing that it's hard, but I'll be able to do it is really kind of what keeps me through. Like yeah, no, and I think like having such a good partner in Lauren is also just I just trust her, and I know that like that I can just show up and I just all I've got to do is like really my best. Like I've got to show up and I've got to do my best, and like that's going to be what it is. And I think like as hard as doubles is, I think like a big mental difference for me in the doubles and the singles is like you guys have probably experienced like a really good singles race where you feel smooth like the whole time. Like yeah, it's hard and it hurts, but like you're kind of like you're vibing and you're in control. And I think there's hope in the singles race. Like there's hope that I'm gonna feel good and like this isn't gonna feel bad. Like there's no hope in the doubles race. Like I don't go in like I go in with like the single like a load of anxiety. Like, am I gonna ride the line right today? Because if you tip over, like really bad things can happen in the singles race and there's nothing to fall back on. But like in the doubles, I'm like, this is gonna suck. Like, you know it's gonna suck. You just have to show up and you have to do your best and just push yourself on every single thing and know that from prior experience, like the breaks are enough. And Lauren is tough as nails, and she's gonna go until she can't. Like I think I appreciate the mental toughness. I think she's so a lot of that is her example and the fact that um she's always I've heard her say like I've never really had a bad race because I've pushed the entire time. And to her, like a bad race isn't where she finishes, it's like, did I drop the wall ball? Because I got frustrated and like decided to mentally dip out. So like I guess the big thing for me is like finish a race that you can be proud of. And that means that in those hard times, like continuing to dig, like you can keep running, Vivian. Like as much as I want to fall over and just have it be done, like you can do it. And yeah, drawing on all those past experiences, like just doing those hard things and knowing from prior experience that you can is what I draw on and what like continues to push me forward.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's mega. And then like, so if we're talking about worlds, the solo race wasn't the race that you were after, didn't quite go to plan. Like, how did that affect you for the doubles with Lauren? Did it give you the fire or did it give you the fear that you then had to go and do it again?
Yeah, I think I again like one of the good and bad things about doing so well so early in the season at that Hamburg major is it set my individual expectations so high for the rest of the season. And to be honest, like after that one, I wasn't happy with most of my individual races, which probably sounds like maybe terrible and lack of perspective, but I again like the expectations were raised so high that like I wasn't happy with a lot of my individual races the rest of the season. And like I have practice going into doubles and knowing that like it's a new day, and again having that trust. And like I said, there's a different mindset um of even like first race versus second race where, and this is also something I draw from in my experience swimming, where like the first day of a meet you're kind of over analyzing, like hyperfixating on how do I feel. Is this going to line up? Am I going to do well? There's a little bit more like anxiety. And then kind of as you move through the meet, like you're not perfect. You've already raced several days before. Maybe you didn't have the best sleep. Maybe things didn't go well. Like, and you kind of shut off like the what if and everything. And you're just like, I'm going to do my best. Like, it's all about effort, basically. And I think that that's something that's really helpful in the doubles is like, that's exactly what it is. It's like, like, I'm not going to go into work, warm up and feel great. That first run is not going to feel good. Like, there's no illusions, right? Of like, um, the perfect race. You just kind of have to go in and you have to give it all you have. And that actually like really takes the pressure off, I would say, a lot of the time. And I think a lot of it is knowing that I've got Lauren with me, which is super helpful as well. Um, but yeah, after the single race in Stockholm, like I was really bummed. And something that I'm not always good at is like living in the moment. Like when something goes wrong like that in the individual race, like my first thought is like into just go into fix it mode. Like how can I fix it? What do I need to do to get myself better? Like was already like thinking about next season, thinking about like how I can fix my training, how I can get better at running, XYZ, all those things. And I really kind of had to shut off my brain, kind of get those thoughts out. One of my friends was like you don't have to text me, but text somebody or text it out or write out all those kind of ruminations and then get them out of your brain and just live in the moment because it still is world championships and you still really want to have a good race. So that was something that I wanted to do for myself is that I wanted to be proud of is was I able to make the right decision, live in the moment, and just focus on what I could do because there's a long time before I need to fix things for next season. So kind of live in the now. And um, one of my big things is just like race a race that you can be proud of. And a lot of that is, and for me, like the be proud of is making the right decisions. That's one of the things that I'm not happy about in the individual race is that I feel like I went out too hard, which was stupid. But then like, did I really push to the best that I could on that day? And sometimes it's going to be a one-on-one and sometimes it's going to be a really good race. And so that's was what I focused on from day one to day two.
Yeah, it's such a good way to look at it though, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't know, I was just thinking back when, as you were saying that, and I've had like some bad races this season where I've not been well or I've like felt rough when I've started and thought, God, I felt really good. And then now I feel awful. But like some of those races are like probably the races I'm proudest of for like actually just finishing. Because sometimes you're like, God, that was so painful and so rough, but I got across the finish line. So then you kind of, if you know you can do it then you think, oh, well, if I feel great on a day, then like mentally, hopefully, you just fly it even more because you've got everything with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you give it the effort, it's cool. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. And what did it feel like to become world champion with Lauren? Like, when did you kind of, did you think, oh yeah, I think we've got this at a point in the race, or did you not let yourself think that? And what did it feel like crossing the finish line together? Because it must be super nice to also like share it with someone when you do become world champion.
Yeah, I think the sharing it part was really cool. Being able to share with Lauren, that was really fun. In terms of like when I think we had it, I was concerned the whole time, I would say until like it was my turn until we started doing wall balls, until it was my turn to do wall balls. I'm like, okay, I think we're safe at this point. But um but yeah, especially like Lucy and Sinead both had such awesome days in the individual races. Like Uh, no. So yeah, I mean, we had to kind of just put our foot on the gas the entire time, which is what we've always done. And um yeah, I that was like the whole time we were really, really concerned. I mean, I think somehow like the rowing for me is always the hardest mental part because you feel so awful. Like you feel so awful when I'm standing there in the road. Like I remember standing there and I was like, I think I'm gonna like lose control of my bladder. Like I think I'm so exhausted that I'm just gonna like not be able to control myself and like pee myself right now is like something that actually went through my mind when I was standing behind watching Lauren row. Um, so yeah, it was hard the whole time, but I knew we had the capability. Lauren is such a weapon on the burpees that it was really great. And I think I was a little bit, I mean, happy surprised that had we had a pretty good lead even going into the burpees. Usually like the burpees is where we were able to get a lead and maintain it. So that was definitely that was a nice surprise and a nice confidence booster. But yeah, we just tried to keep the gas pedal down the entire time. Especially in the back half, like Sinead's really fast with the farmer's carry. And historically we've lost like Charlie and Lauren on the lunges are so great. So the whole time, like we kept our foot on the gas. I can't not put my foot on the gas if I'm racing with Lauren. Like it's always just kind of all out. But that's kind of how it was. And then it was nice and yeah, it was cool. Kind of a relief, honestly, when we passed first and we were able to do it. I was like, hey, like we did it. Thank God. Um, I think something that I am pretty bad at, like I said, is like the goalposts moving and keeping perspective because um I wasn't I wasn't banking on winning by any means. Like I know how good the teams are, but like knowing that you definitely have a strong chance of winning, um, that kind of then becomes the expectation a little bit, and that's something that I know I need to watch out for is like when those expectations um, get too high. So it was a lot of relief crossing the finish first. Like okay, we did it. We were able to win, and I think probably for both of us, a lot of the part that I take pride of in that doubles race is being able to come back from not a great like the singles race that I didn't really want, and being able to kind of hold it together, and come back from yeah a not great day on the first day.
Yeah. I mean, you said about Lauren's burpees and she's incredible. I mean, she's incredible, full stop, but like she's incredible at the burpees. But your burpees have got so fast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
We literally said
Like
it when we
literally,
were
yeah.
watching.
I was like,
Oh my
whoa.
God, Vivian's flying on the burpees.
Have you been working on those badges, or is that from like doing doubles? Do you think like things have got faster because you've been racing more doubles, or?
I think like the burpees are so hard. Like when I'm tired, I those fall apart for me so fast. But those tiny breaks, like if you just stick me like fresh, like I can do them pretty quickly. Like I'm good at bouncing off the ground and kind of moving through them fast. When I'm fatigued, that's one of the hardest things for me to get through. But those small breaks are like enough for me to recover and be able to take out a few fast ones because Lauren typically definitely does take the bulk. I think at Worlds it was a little bit more split evenly, but definitely not evenly, but closer split evenly. We'd had ones like DC and Warsaw. Lauren took like 60 meters of the burpees. Like, and the DC one, she just kept going on that first length. And I was like, okay, like, I'm not going to stop you.
You go.
Yeah, cool. Um, but yeah, just trying to jump in wherever I can. And I think that's like we kind of don't go in with like a super concrete plan, and it's just kind of like whoever's feeling which way or that way. Like a lot of the times like Lauren has felt really good and been able to really do well on like the burpees at Worlds. I felt better on like the lunges, and I was like I'm gonna take like a few extra steps because I have like a longer stride and try to make up ground because we saw Lucy and Sinead moving um through those. But yeah, it's just kind of like the small breaks are usually enough, but whenever Lauren feels like taking more, I'm not going to fight her on it because then I know I have to run with her afterwards. So
Fair enough, totally. And then can you talk to us a little bit about the ergs? Because like, I mean, always on the live commentary and stuff, people are picking up like how awesome you are on the ergs. I think you're usually pulling like one of the fastest splits on the ski in the row. Do you, I mean, you did just say you hated the row. So do you enjoy the ergs or where does that come from?
I'm actually not erging that all that much right now. I think my ergs, I think I've actually maybe gotten worse over the past year or two. I've lost some weight, so I think that's probably part of it. I mean, I know I can the ski erg, I'm so full of adrenaline and I know I can wail on that, and the intervals are small enough that like I'm all out sprinting on those on the ski erg because like there's enough recovery and I don't feel it because it's so short and I'm so full of adrenaline that I'm like pull under 140 if you can. Get every second that you possibly can on those while you're still fresh. The row's a lot worse. I row slower. Well, I'm trying really hard, but I row slower than I probably could because we figure Lauren usually takes 250 to 300. I take 450 to 500, and then she takes, the remaining 250, depending on how each of us are feeling. And I think we figure that extra transition, I can row a little bit slower if I stay on there longer. But yeah, the row is just like I said before, like that's like for some reason when you get that kind of big pause and you kind of start to think about like how tired you are is a really hard part of it. But yeah, I would say like early on when my running was really kind of underdeveloped compared to a lot of the field, like the machines are something that I was really, really strong at and kind of have been really strong at because I still don't feel like I'm the most efficient runner, and that's something I'm really trying to work on a lot. But I just have I'm more efficient somehow. I don't know. I see a lot of different videos now on Instagram that I need to start ignoring about like the optimal ski technique. And I'm like, I don't think I do that. But the weight, the height, all of that helps a lot.
Yeah. No. And how do you and Lauren split the ski, if you don't mind sharing, or does it change?
No, we've done this all the times we've done all 150s. So each of us do 4 150s. Hold on.
I'm trying to do math.
Each of us do 3 150s. That gets to 900, and then Lauren finishes with 100. So I end up doing 450. She does 500, 550. I'm hoping that if my running gets a little bit better, I can get to even or a little bit more on the ski because that's a stronger point for me. Like the stronger I get on the running, the more I can kind of capitalize on my strengths other ways. Because right now I'm kind of like, and I need the breaks to be able to run, but that's like a personal goal for me is to be able to take more on the ski. But I think either way, we'll still probably try to have Lauren start and finish the ski. So however that works out, play around with the numbers in the middle.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense.
Because on the live stream, like they talk a lot, like Tilshank, and I know he like raises it and he's done it a few times about how like incredible it is that you are literally like running your ass off and then still pulling your weight on the stations. It's not like you're just keeping up with Lauren. Like it's not like you're running it like a mixed doubles where you're like keeping up with Lauren on the run and then giving her more of the stations to do it. Like you still get off and smash the stations, yet you seem like you're running like full on like max capacity compared to Lauren. Are you? Like
Yeah.
how do you set the you are. Is Lauren like running like I know she's pushing, but she always looks like she's running like sprinting. But is she running at like a pace that you guys have set that you can keep up with, or is the plan just Lauren goes at Lauren's pace and you just try and hold on? Like,
there's not really talk. There's it's just trying to hang on as much as possible. And I think we've had different like different feelings during different races. Like I would like DC and Warsaw, especially DC, I think she was feeling really, really strong. And so like when that happens and she has to look back more and she has to slow down a little bit more, that's when she, like the burpees, like I said, that time were really like a really big differential between how much each of us work put in. But that's kind of how it goes, is like the better I feel, I'm able to take more if she's really on a day, like the way that we kind of balance that scale for the running, and she does take more work, and then that's kind of how it's played out.
Yeah, fair. And then so you've been working on your running. Has that been the plan like for the last year? Like you've obviously just mentioned you've like dropped a bit of weight, you've like which has maybe affected your ergs and maybe some of the power, and I don't know, has it affected the sleds and stuff, or has that been fine? And it's you're just putting your focus on the running and like power to weight ratio or something, is it?
Yeah, I think so back in, oh God, I'm gonna have to like moderate myself and not go off too much about how much I'm mad about this. But something that I am really upset about, to be honest, is how much easier the sleds have gotten from the time that I started until now. Like
Yeah.
if you go back and watch, like there's a big race from 2021, like, and they had a bunch of really strong like OCR and other athletes who were leaner, and they physically couldn't push the sled. Like they had to drop out. And like if in Warsaw, like anybody could push that sled. And that's been super, super frustrating for me, like seeing that shift and having it turn more and more and more into a running race. And like I'm gonna adapt to it, but it is a bummer because from 2020 to 2024, like I built these legs with the capacity and the aim to be able to push those sleds that like a lot of people have a really hard time pushing nowadays, and even in the elite field. Um, Only for then the sled to be like the sled times have like cut in half basically of what they used to take. Only for it now to be so running centric that like that extra muscle isn't even just redundant, but it kind of is like almost harmful, right? Because the bigger your muscles you have, the more oxygen you're taking, and that takes away from the aerobic part of the race. So from 2024 to now, I think I'm like 15 pounds lighter than I was. And so a lot of that has been like higher volume, the more shift to more aerobic capacity, more running. Like something I'm doing this summer is my double threshold days in the past have typically been machines in the morning, run at night. Now I'm doing both of those as runs, trying to get more into running drills. You should see how pathetic my beef skips were. They're getting better, but they're still really ugly. So kind of working on efficiency to the best I can. One of the barriers for that is like my Achilles. I've pretty bad Achilles problem. So like sometimes I tend to step forward a little bit more in my run to kind of take some of the pressure off of the Achilles, which like you really shouldn't do for efficiency reasons. So trying to kind of do my best to manage those symptoms and to just be a little bit more efficient. And up my mileage is something that I'm trying to do this summer, while also being careful and making sure that I don't just cook myself all summer. So that's the focus for me.
And are you worried about like injury prevention, like up in your running miles? Because I know like, especially with like HYROX training, putting it all together, it can.
Yeah, I think like the Achilles thing has been a really persistent problem ever since the Go Ruck Games when we ran 16 miles on the sand with weight vests and a flag part of it. So my Achilles has not been the same since then. But I'm kind of I'm trying to be better about mobility, better warm-ups. Like I wasn't doing like running drills really as part of my warm-ups. Trying to just trying to be better about warm-ups. I mean, I've been in some hotel rooms and seen how much warm-up Lauren does before she runs, and I'm like, I do not do that. I'm like, that's bad. Like there's a big difference. Like I love every once in a while, like I'll be exposed to like something Lauren does, and I'm like, that's why she's the GOAT. And like
Yeah.
one of those is like definitely the warm-up. So trying to be better about that, doing running drills, mobility work, different stretching. So just trying to keep an eye on all of that. And yeah, and I think like one thing that I'm not doing is I'm not doing any extra cardio outside of those runs. So just trying to also manage like just overall stress. Those are kind of the things that I'm watching out for is the mobility, warm up, and like the running is really obviously very stressful on your body. So trying to eliminate like extra stress outside of that.
Do you still swim?
I don't.
Do you not at all?
I went swimming once with my sisters for fun. I think like sometime over the winter, but yeah, it's just inconvenient. Like
Yeah.
I don't just want to schlep everything around and get the chlorine all over me. Like I don't
Yeah.
like I wonder sometimes I think about like what all of that chlorine exposure and breathing in the chlorine like does to you. Like I'm like I wonder if
I mean, it's not
it's
done you any harm as a HYROX athlete, so
yeah. I'm
I
like
feel
this
like
is that good for you? Like I don't know, but I just there's either easier other ways of doing cardio and if I'm not running, my preferred cardio is like sitting on a bike or walking somewhere where I can read on my phone because I like to read. I like to read my silly little romance books, and if I'm doing a silly little romance book, I can do cardio for however long I need to.
yeah.
I love that. Find a way to get through. Okay, so what does next season look like? Are you still pursuing both solo doubles? Are you going to find a different partner?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the plan?
Who dumps Lauren Weeks?
No one dumps. Well, I don't
No,
know, Vivian, do you?
no. I have texted her and I was like, I just want to be sure. Like, are we doing this next season? She was like, as long as you'll have me. I'm like, I think it's like as long as you'll have me. But like, okay, cool. But yeah, definitely plan is to keep doing that. Unfortunately, one of the bad things, like this was the worst part of the singles race for me was knowing that that was my fifth race of the season and knowing that the points for that were going to be so bad that I now have to do another race. So I'm doing my first race I think will be DC September because I've gotta get the points for that. Um, do I want to do a race on a boat? Do I think a race on a boat makes sense for a professional athletic organization? No. Straight up, no. Do I think the boat is dumb? Yes. Will I go on record about the boat being dumb? Yes. Do I care about the consequences? No.
Yeah.
It is dumb.
She was like, you need to stop asking everyone on the podcast about the boat. And I was like, well, I'm going to ask Vivian about the boat. And I don't even need to ask you about the boat because
no,
I think
dumb.
everyone's got the same answer about the cruise.
No, I did want to know what Vivian thought about the boat because I knew it would be a great answer.
This is so bad. There was a big group chat of us talking about something, and someone was like, so just curious, like, what are people's thoughts on the boat? And I was like, and like this group chat started, and I was like, Vivian, do not get baited into talking in the group chat. Don't do it. Don't talk in the group chat. Just listen. Just see what people have to say. Your opinion is not that important. And then they were like, and then someone was like, well, what do you think about the boat? And I was like, it's like I'm trying to think of a professional way to say this, but all I can think is this is dumb. Like it's like imagine Olympic trials for the marathon. They're like, we're gonna do a time trial on a boat. Like
it doesn't go, does it? It's like we're trying to get to the Olympics and we're also gonna run our first like elite race on a cruise ship. I'm really intrigued as to who was in the boardroom and when. Great idea.
And it's like it's frustrating. Like I think like I had heard about a race on a boat like a while ago, and it was like when it was told to me, it was like pitched as like an exhibition type thing, like oh, like wouldn't it be fun if we like invited people and we let people go at different times depending on their best time, and we had them race like kind of like a fun like I said like a fun exhibition thing, and I'm like cool, great, love that, but like making it a qualification for Worlds, I think is just it's so frustrating and so like against this like professional elite athlete thing that side that we're going to do, and then there's like issues with like it's not even a real race, it's a time trial, and then if it's a time trial, like well, what happens if it gets really hot, like in the however long, it's not going to be the same race conditions. What happens if there's a big wave on? I don't know how boats work. Like people getting seasick. Like it's frustrating from a racing standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
think
it's a good idea as like an option for, I don't know, a HYROX holiday, some coaching,
yeah,
like almost like a training camp type style thing. Cool.
yeah,
Like,
Not
but
an elite
yeah, for an
race.
elite race, I feel like, and also it just kind of contradicts, in my opinion, that they're trying to get away from times and do points, and now we've just gone back to do a time trial, which, yeah, I'm a bit like that. That's really confusing. And also,
it
yeah, like
is.
big wave or I don't know, someone gets in the way, sunbathing.
Yeah,
What you do?
yeah,
I mean, it's created interest. I don't know. No press is bad press, is it? And everyone's like waiting to see what's going to happen. I think it's just a shame, I guess, for you guys. It's almost at your expense versus for us. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? It's intriguing, but it doesn't really affect us. Whereas elite athletes, it totally affects your guys' season, your guys' races. It could affect your like the future races, depending on, boats are and being stuck on a boat with loads of people and takes someone to get norovirus or something and it spreads and
right. Yeah,
I don't know, I feel like
think
that's all I can think about with cruise ships is like they just get docked somewhere and
I
someone's
know.
ill and everyone comes off ill.
yeah, yeah. All of those reasons, I'm like, this is yeah, I don't like it at all.
So
Cool. So apart from the boat.
Sorry, we just went off on the boat.
Okay, yeah.
We went off. We went off. We don't want to go on.
I'm buzzing about that
we want off the boat.
bit.
No, I was gonna say, did you say so? DC is a race to hopefully get the points to get you in the solo elite 15. In which case, would you go on the boat or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like I'm hating on the boat, but like you
I'll be
gotta
there.
go. Like you gotta like what we learned in like any chance you get, you have to do it. Especially
Yeah.
like the early races. Like if I can go and I can qualify, like that opens up my season for like the rest of the time. And I think as we talked about earlier, I have this problem of overcooking myself. And so I've had this idea that if I can qualify early, then what I can do is maybe after whichever major is in that January, February, I can take another little break so that I don't end up overcooking myself. And to do that, I got to qualify early. And this might be one of the best opportunities to do that. And I know like it's kind of like number one, people might not go. Do I want to go? No. Will I go? Yes. Like it's a chance to qualify and you can't really take that lightly.
Yeah.
Um,
You also
so
might race well on a boat.
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm a swimmer. I'm not worried
You
about
might,
falling
yeah.
over.
I think so. Yeah, national swimmer. Some people might not be able to swim.
Yeah. I don't think I get seasick as far as I know. I'm pretty good. Like my when we're winding through wavy roads, I'm reading my romance novels on my phone, and my rest of my family is like trying not to throw up. So like maybe I just get less motion sick than other
This
people.
this
So
could be your calling.
maybe
Like you
maybe
never
it's worth
know.
it.
Would
Yeah.
you know what would be good is if they started it on land and you had to swim to the boat and then do an elite 15 race, like
Perfect.
winning? Yeah,
Perfect.
like a
There you go.
triathlon.
Yeah. But yeah, so the doubles, like we're fine. We're definitely qualified. So I'm showing up to DC. Gotta be ready. Because I don't think she explicitly said this, but I think Meg's racing in DC. So I'm like, well, that's great. That's great for me. Yeah, and that kind of gets into a whole thing with the point system, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. That we can go into if we want, but yeah, the plan would be show up in DC. I think if I don't have at least, I think I'm 15th right now, in the point standings. And I've heard, like, I think Lucy said she's not going on the boat, so maybe that's one person that I get to jump in front of. But that's definitely messy and not guaranteed. So I've got to show up. I'm hoping that I at least get first or second. I think if I get first or second, then I should be okay. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's been a lot with the changes and the points, the times, the locations, the I mean, it's not even called majors now, is it? It's now the elite series or whatever. Yeah, like, and I guess from like the elite athlete like perspective, it's a lot for you guys to try and adapt to, like keep racing. That's a lot of racing, like for your season. And yeah, like are you having or have you had any downtime? Because I mean September's not far. Like, so have you managed to like kind of decompress a little bit after Worlds to then get back on it to hopefully be ready for September?
Yeah, my family's awesome. We were able to book a vacation right after Worlds. So from Stockholm, we went straight to Switzerland. And I was there for a week. So I had about like 10 days. Like after the doubles race, we were in Stockholm for like an extra day. I didn't do any working out. I didn't know working out except for like hiking for like 10 days, which is probably the biggest stretch that I've gone in at least a year, probably more. Um, and then when I got back, I did, I kind of got back into things, but like that first week, if I saw something I didn't want to do on my training program, I was like, nope, like skip. And I'm a little bit like that now. I'm not doing like any kind of extra cardio. I'm doing what I feel. If anything looks too extra, sorry, my family group, my sister group chat is blowing up right now over cats. They're like, we found cats outside of our work, and I'm like, okay, great guys, I want a podcast. Leave me alone. But keep going. Sorry. That on Do Not Disturb. Oh no. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so I took the time off. I'm kind of trying, I'm testing my theory about like the less hard that I try and the easier that I go, the better I do. So I'm following my general training plan right now, but I'm really just trying to keep it. I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm relaxed and I'm trying not to overexert myself, trying to have fun, trying to like leave most of my workouts feeling energized instead of really drained, which is kind of how I felt probably the entire back half of the season. So that's kind of like my approach is I'm hoping that going a little bit easier will be helpful. Also maybe help me absorb a bunch of the because I trained really hard the last year. So it's testing the theory of like, more is better, absorbing some of that hard work. So yeah, like I'm training, but I'm trying to keep the pressure off myself, just enjoy it. Because I do enjoy training when I'm not destroying myself. But so that's kind of like the approach that I'm taking is right now just do my stuff, stay relaxed about it.
Yeah. And are you still working? Because you were
I
like
am,
working
yeah.
full-time. Are you still working like full time or have you
Yes.
God, that sounds
Yeah.
crazy. So like
Yeah, that's
did you sleep in the run up to like did you compromise on like sleep or anything? Or like how did you fit everything in? How did
I
you
think
train to that level?
sleep is the hardest. Like the one thing that I don't think too much would change if I went full time. I would have more flexibility. Maybe I would travel a little bit more, do some training camps, kind of go to races for fun a little bit more. But I think like the one thing that would definitely be helpful would be sleep. Um, but it's not too bad right now. I probably wake up at 5:40 to 6 ish, train till like 9 ish, quick shower, grab my food, sit at my desk. I'm at my desk right now. Work from then till 5. Try to get my workout done, and usually it's done between like after like driving everywhere 7:30, and then the hard part is then like I want to relax and read my book and take my wind down time, but I also need to go to sleep. So that's like the one hard thing. I still think I do pretty well. I probably average between 8 and 8.5, like over the course of a week, which I like practically like is not bad. Ideally it would be better, but yeah, that's like the one thing that I wish I was a little bit more on top of. I mean, but really, like, what can I change in that? That's the one thing that's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah. Because has a lot since we spoke to you like last March, has a lot changed in your life? Like obviously we've noticed you're with the feed now, like you've got some more sponsors, like yeah. Like
Got my
what's
dad's drink,
okay, cool.
the medal. Sorry.
Medal? Medal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you get them in the UK, or is that just an American thing?
No, you can't get them in the UK yet.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So what's changed for you in the last year, and is this anything changing coming into the next season, or?
Yeah, not too much has changed. I mean, I think like the sponsorship conversations are starting to happen. I've been behind the ball, I think, relative to everybody else behind that because yeah, it was just something like I like the one of the advantages of working is um my livelihood doesn't depend on how well I do in races, which like is really helpful. Like um I think as um sidebar story that relates is I was talking with Joanna, Lucy's boyfriend Tom. We were all sitting around. Joe has her cute little Puma bags, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to make this like my thing. Like I have them in all different colors." I was like, "That's cool." And Tom's like, "Yeah, Lucy's trying to like have her Red Bull jerseys," and I'm like, "That's cool." I'm like, "You guys have things? Like, I need to get a thing. Like, what's my thing?" And Joe's like, "Your thing is not giving a fuck." And I was like, that's hilarious because like if you knew me like 10 years ago, I gave the most fuck. Like I'm so competitive and intense. Like I like that's kind of like deep down really who I am. And so like I I still care a lot, but I'm try to be intentional about like keeping perspective. And I think like getting older is helpful for that and like being goofy and still having fun and like it's not that deep. Like as much as I believe those things, like it is intentional for me to be able to like I think it's important for me to be able to really kind of separate and keep the races as low key as I can. And part of that is like having my job and having things not depend on how well I do. Um, but I have started getting more into like sponsorship stuff, and I have an agent now. He's awesome. His name is Bijan. And yeah, so like we're talking with different brands about like um potential apparel sponsorships, which is cool. Obviously, it's exploded in the last year for everybody else. So trying to get a handle on that. That's kind of like the things that have changed, but it's hard. Like that's definitely a hard thing. Is like the working and the working out barely fits together, but then you start putting together like sponsorship obligations, stuff like that. Like that does it is getting pretty hard to do anything extra on top of just the working out um and the work. But I would say like that's the biggest change. And I guess other change, I did move back to the East Coast. Last time we talked, I was in Texas. There just really wasn't any reason for me to be in Texas anymore. So I'm back in Pennsylvania, a lot closer to my family, which is really nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you and Lauren ever train together, or do you just race together?
No, we just race together. We're just different sides of the country now.
Yeah, I thought you were quite far away, but then I was like, oh, maybe, yeah. I mean, fair, it works. You don't need to train together, but yeah, no. But no, I think like your perspective and like how you are and come across, like I think is really nice for like everyone from an outside. I think it seems like a very healthy relationship, like with the sport and what you're doing. So, yeah, I think it's a good kind of message for people as well, because sometimes people do, I guess, get wrapped up in everything being like reliant on their performance and how they do, and like that becomes like their identity. So what you were just saying there is like, yeah, like I guess having your job as well means that you don't put all that pressure in like that the race, and that is the be all and end all. Like
yeah, it's having something else outside of it.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, like, on social media, I thought the other day actually, and then you just reminded me when we've done this podcast. Do you follow Charlie Bottrell? And like
I do, yes.
and he does
Yeah.
these like zone for thoughts, and he puts all these random thoughts in. And I was like, I think you should do one like every time you race with Lauren, or like every time
did that post of what you thought in the race. I was hilarious.
And it was so good. And I was like, I think this is your niche. I want to know like what goes through Vivian's head every time she races, or she does a training session, or I'm so intrigued. I think it's your calling.
That's like my most liked post of all time. Like
yeah, it was good.
I have less than 5,000 followers. I have more than 1,000 likes on that. Like I was like, oh, this is popular.
Yeah, people want to know what you're thinking. Like
I loved it.
Yeah.
It would be more of the same. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Like, oh, I
Like,
could, like that floor at World was really uneven. And I was like, oh, bummer. What if I just, fell over? And then there's the rower, like I'm gonna lose control of my bladder and pee myself probably. Um,
Oh, so
I think
good.
those are
actually,
like that's the thing that like sets you apart, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a bit like Charlie, like his own forethoughts are funny. And I'm like, oh God, Vivian should get on this because like you're definitely the funniest like Elite 15 girl for sure.
thank you.
That you can have that title for sure.
Yay! The important things in life.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
my agent was saying that as well. He's like, like you're really like relatable, and I'm like, I just don't censor myself as much as I probably should. I think it and I say it.
Yeah. But then a lot of people say what they think people want to hear, or I guess because people have got sponsorship, they think what they say what they think they should say. And I think a lot of people are like, we know you don't really, I don't know. For example, say the boat. Someone's like, yeah, I think, it could be a good idea. Do you really? Do you really?
No,
But
no.
Vivian doesn't even need me to ask the question. And, we know what she thinks. And I think like it's real and it's honest and people can relate to that. They like,
Yeah.
it's human, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's another part of thing that I had been thinking about with sponsorships is like, yeah, like I do want to be honest. And that's another thing that having the job, it secures me a little bit because like for people who like fully rely on this, like I get the hesitation of like criticizing the organization, like this is what you have, and like, and also like trying to balance the kind of balance the thing of like I don't want to feel really entitled, and sometimes like if you say things and you think things and you're like this is a sport that I'm voluntarily participating in, like all of these things, right? And like it's a great opportunity. It's so unique. Like we get to like travel the world, and like you don't want to come off as like ungrateful, but at the same time, like it is important, I feel like, to call out when things aren't fair, or when things, because like ultimately, like I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but part of like HYROX continuing to succeed is like making the right choices and not doing like goofy things, or not, or becoming untrustworthy with the choices that they make. And I think like having the job makes me feel empowered that like if I get blacklisted, like it sucks. I love doing this. Like this is my passion. I love doing this, but like I don't, like my life doesn't depend on it. And so like that's another part that I think is important, is having that safety net, and maybe trying to use that to a certain extent when things aren't when the math ain't mathing,
Yeah, no, for sure. It makes total sense. Absolutely. Have you got any other? I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but I feel like I shouldn't talk.
Yeah.
You've got like a cat chat to get back to.
Yeah, I've got
You need to check out these cats. We're cute.
Important things to do. So I'm gonna round up and ask you our final question, which is, what message or advice would you give to your younger self or the next generation of girls coming up?
Oh God, this is a good one. I mean, I think I always have a hard time with like general advice, because I think a lot of times I could say like work really hard, and the person that's already working really hard will be like, okay, and they'll work even harder, and they probably shouldn't. And the person who probably needs to hear it is like, no, it doesn't apply to me. Like for me specifically, which we've already kind of touched on, is like I definitely took things too seriously growing up when I was younger. And again, knowing myself, I wouldn't listen. Even if it was older me coming back and like telling myself, I don't know if I would listen. Like I'm pretty stubborn, but I think like trying to have a little bit more perspective on things, I think would be helpful. Like again, some of these lessons of like, you know, like you're working really, really hard. I think sometimes you can clutch onto something so tight that you cut off the blood supply and you strangle it, and it's too much. So I think, some perspective I think would be helpful for that. Like it's not that deep. It's something that I kind of say now, and I think like it's not that deep. It's not only true that like the sport isn't, like there's a lot bigger and more important things going on in the world, but also I think it is helpful to your performance when you are able to just kind of like relax and not hold it so tight. So I think that's a big one. I also feel like I'm not exactly sure what the right way to say this or the messaging, but I think especially in this age of social media, I think there's a lot of focus on how your body looks, things like that. I think you guys posted something, like imagine how much whatever propaganda took to like focus on, the things that you're seeing in your pictures instead of what your body can do. And I think like, that would be a big one is I think like HYROX has, I think, close to 1 million followers now, which is crazy. And I think like, all those people are doing so many important things. There's doctors, there's people who are really trying to make a difference. There's parents, there's teachers, there's all these people making just doing really important things for the world that like the appearance is just so not important. And I think also like as an athlete, like I'm working out 20 hours a week because like this is truly my passion. But like other people are doing so much more important things, and like you really shouldn't compare like what your body looks like to somebody who's like training, however many hours. And then on top of that is like there's a difference between like health and fitness, and like a lot of us are taking things to the edge. Like how many of us, like every single person on the elite start line is either doing 10 hours of rehab a week, 2 bad workouts away from an injury, or both. And like we're really riding an edge. And I think also like there's probably a lot of people who are doing things and showcasing things and they're not being honest about what the long-term repercussions are of something to have the body that they're maintaining. And I think like, all of the messaging is just too much. And I just think that you should be focusing on what your body can do and being proud of yourself and touching grass and really like realizing what's important isn't that body image. And I think like all of those kind of messages, I think I just blabbed a lot and probably didn't say it very succinctly, but I think like all those messages to really just kind of be proud of like who you are, what you can do. And if you focus on that, like you're gonna have a body that does what you love, that you should be proud of. And so I think that's a roundabout way of kind of addressing some body positivity, some decentering, I guess, of looks that I think is a little bit too prevalent, I think, in a lot of people's minds today.
Yeah. No, I think you said it really well. I think, like you covered a lot, and I think it is really important to say and to hear it from you, who is on a start line of like the Elite 15 and racing at that top level. I think it's like really helpful for people. And yeah, we totally agree. 100%. Yeah. Well, thank you, Vivian. That was awesome. So good to chat to you. Just over a year later. Where can everyone like find out more about what you're doing, see how you get on in next season? What's the best way for people to continue to follow your journey?
Yeah, I think I just have an Instagram. It's just my name, VIVINTAFUTO, all together, my Instagram. I was about to say like, I'll be more active on that. Will I be more active on that? Probably only if I'm forced to be more active on that, to be honest with you. So
just maybe another post race.
Okay, I'll work on that. I'll tag you guys. I'll do it.
That's our request. Yeah, that's our only. Hopefully, along with a lot of our listeners, also enjoyed that. And if you've not seen it, go back and find it because it was very good. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. Good luck for the next season. Hopefully, we'll see you around at a race at some point. And we can't wait to see how you get on.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.